Hey, my name's Elric Centers. I'm here to show you how to brew the best kombucha ever. I've been honing my kombucha brewing skills for almost a decade. My dad and stepmom were pretty early on in the kombucha brewing phenomenon, movement, or whatever you want to call it. And so I learned from an early age how to brew kombucha. And in the past few years, I've taken it to kind of more professional level, especially this last year when I started a kombucha company, which I realized fairly early on that it was too much money and work and just too much for me to juggle, and not where my heart was. So I let the kombucha business go, but I'm here to tell you what I've learned. So I'm going to start by showing you what we're going to be working with today. We have our growlers that we'll be pouring the finished kombucha into. We've got the 2-gallon glass wide mouth brewing vessel with the ingredients in there to brew. We've got the gunpowder green tea and sugar. Both are organic, of course. Got a towel there to go around the outside of the brewing vessel while it's brewing to prevent sunlight from entering. We've got a glass bowl to put the SCOBY in while we harvest and prepare everything. And we've got a terry towel to cover the kombucha while it brews with the rubber band to secure it, and a strainer bag to pour the tea through, make sure that there's no tea leaves in the brewing kombucha. And we've got a sponge that you're going to want to keep separate from your normal washing and just use it for kombucha, and never use soap, only use vinegar. So I use this white vinegar, which you can buy at any store. Costco has a great price on it, which you can also get the organic sugar at Costco for cheap. The gunpowder green tea, once you run out of the bag that I'll send you with the brew kit, if you order the brew kit, I usually buy my gunpowder green tea through Mountain Rose Herbs up in Eugene, Oregon. And then you're going to also need a pot to boil water and brew the tea in. You're going to need a wooden spoon, which I recommend dedicating to the kombucha, not using it on anything else. You're going to need some tongs or heat-resistant gloves to use to get all the liquid out of the tea. And then a heat gun is helpful, although not absolutely necessary. You can use a thermometer, something basically to check the temperature at the end to make sure the kombucha is not too hot. You're going to need some various measuring cups, a pint and quart jar, preferably with the measuring lines on it, a funnel, and to start a new SCOBY, we're going to need some kombucha, which I recommend GT's Original Classic Kombucha. It produces very good SCOBYs. You don't want to use kombucha that has been flavored. You want to use unflavored kombucha to start a SCOBY. So that is an overview of what we're going to use here to get going, and I'll start it out from there. I'm just going to walk you through step by step how to do this. So the first step, you're going to want to boil some filtered spring water to brew your tea. I've already measured it out. It's 1.33 pints or 2.66 cups. So you'll start that water boiling. It'll boil quicker, obviously, if you put a lid on it. And while that's boiling, we're going to add, well, I've already added the water to the jar that we're going to brew the kombucha, the SCOBY in. So you add 2 quarts of filtered or spring water to this clean brewing vessel, and you're going to pour 1.5 cups of sugar into it. And always use organic. Costco has a great price on organic sugar. And you're gonna put your strainer bag into the brewing vessel, and that's how you're gonna strain out the tea leaves. You don't want any matter in the brew while you're brewing the SCOBY. It'll throw it off. So you put your strainer bag in there, and once the tea is brewed, which will take 20 minutes, once the water boils, you turn the heat off, and you'll put a half a cup of gunpowder green tea, which is the type of tea I use. You can use whatever green or black tea you want. I've even used rooibos if you want caffeine free. So you'll put that in the hot water, let it steep for 20 minutes. I always set a timer, and then once the tea is steeped and ready to go, I'll come back and show you the rest. And while we wait for the tea to finish brewing, why don't we just do a little jam sesh, huh? Alright, we're back. The timer just went off for the tea after 20 minutes. So we are going to pour the brewed tea through the strainer bag into the brewing vessel. And you can use your hands to get all the tea leaves out of the pot. It's not too hot, I promise. And then once you get the tea into the brewing vessel, you're going to grab some tongs or heat-resistant gloves, and you want to get all the liquid out of the tea leaves. You can even use your hands. It's not going to be scalding. And then you'll just set that aside, and you're going to stir really well using your dedicated kombucha spoon. You want to make sure that all the sugar gets dissolved completely into the liquid. You don't want to see any solids, no granules or anything. You want it all to be completely dissolved. Another way you can do it is to strain the tea into another pot or vessel and add the sugar directly to the tea mixture. That way there's no cold water and the sugar dissolves a lot quicker in the hot tea. And then you can just pour that hot tea mixture into the water. But make sure and always strain the tea completely, regardless of which way you do it. Once you've mixed it well, and you can see no more granules of sugar in there, you're going to call it done. And you're going to add your kombucha. I use GT's Original Classic. It makes for really good SCOBYs. You can use any unflavored kombucha. Just don't use flavored kombucha because the flavoring can mess things up. So you're going to need 3 pints. You just pour it directly in there. And I would save these bottles to bottle your kombucha down the road. Clean them out, rinse them really well, and save them. And always save the caps too from any GT's bottles, because they're really nice airtight caps that you can use on these, of course, in the future, or on the half-gallon growlers that you may have gotten from me. So once you have your 3 pints in there, you're going to grab your wooden spoon, give it a little rinse, and give that another stir. Make sure it's well incorporated. And that is all it takes. And you're going to cover it with a terry towel, a clean terry towel, and secure the terry towel with your rubber band around the outside, and make sure there's no gaps around the outside. Any gaps that are there are entrances for fruit flies, and you don't want fruit flies to be able to get in there. So you've got your SCOBY material ready, and in about a month, 3 weeks to a month, there will be a nice SCOBY ready for you to use to brew your own kombucha. It's magic. And you want to make sure that you store this while it's brewing in a warm, dark place, ideally around 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you don't have a room, or if your house is not 75 degrees, then you're going to need to heat the space. Otherwise, it'll just take a long time for the SCOBY to grow. You can also use heating pads that are made for fish tanks. You can put those underneath the jar. And if there's any sunlight at all in the space that you're going to be brewing it in, then you're going to want to take a bath towel and wrap it around the outside, like I've done here. Making sure not to cover the top, because if the top is covered, then the SCOBY brewing material won't be able to breathe, and it's necessary for it to breathe while it's brewing. So make sure that no sunlight is getting into the brew, and make sure that it's in a temperature controlled space, and air filters are always good. Nice clean air makes for the best quality. And then check it in 3 weeks to a month, and you should have about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch growth, and you can use that to brew kombucha. And check out my other video for instructions on how to brew kombucha. Alright, I hope you make delicious kombucha that you love and can share with friends and family. Enjoy your day. Thank you.